You have everybody? Who's in the building there? Is Steve there? Ezra?
Mark and Jenny also.
Mark and Jenny. Steve, Ezra, Mark, Jenny. And the only one I don't have accounted for is Laura. Is Laura out there somewhere?
I'm here.
LJ, got it.
Here.
Rita, have everybody else down that's from the public?
Yes.
Very good. We'll go to number 3, virtual meeting rules. Matt, would you go over the meeting rules with us, please?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I would ask for a request that we just skip that, since I think everyone here has been through it many times. We don't have a whole lot of folks helping on that.
As presented, or is there any corrections?
So move, Ezra.
Steve Lindahl seconds.
All right, we've got a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor, I'll go down the list of the what Matt sent out for the Planning Commission membership. I'll go down that list. I'll just read these names off. Laura,
Yes.
Jenny,
Yes.
Andrea,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Warrenson, Ezra,
Yes.
Joel, you're muted, Joel. You can read your lips. Mark,
Yes.
Yep.
Kurt Stubbs is first on the list,
Yes.
and then Kurt Sherman,
Yes.
Steve Lindus.
Yes.
Agenda's approved. Approval of minutes from last month. Has everybody got a chance to read through those? Look at them, read them, and is there any corrections to be made, or is there a motion to approve as presented, or are there corrections?
So move, Ezra.
Second, Steve Martinson.
Kurt's got a second. Ezra made the motion. Kurt seconded. All those in favor say aye. Laura,
Aye.
Jenny,
Just wait a second. There might be a correction that,
Mr. Chair, I have one correction.
okay.
On page 7 of the meeting materials packet in the minutes, on the standards, or on the motion to recommend approval to the Board of Commissioners, the text amendment,
Okay.
that standard number 2 there, it says 1 full-time equivalent, should be 10.
Okay. Which page did you say?
Oh, was it
7.
page 6 or 7? 6. My apologies. I have it up on
Okay.
the screen too. Right there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and another part of there, it did say 10, okay? Any others?
That's all that I could find.
Kevin Campbell.
And I didn't even find that one. I have to give Commissioner Campbell credit for that.
Give him a pat on the back. And thank you.
Will do.
Okay, Ezra, you got that correction?
Then with that correction, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right,
Second,
Kurt? Very good. Okay, now let's go down. All those in favor say aye. Laura,
Aye.
Jenny,
Aye.
Andrea,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Ezra,
Aye.
Joel,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Kurt,
Aye.
Kurt,
Aye.
and Steve.
Aye.
Minutes are approved with the correction. Citizens to be heard. Is there any Anybody in the audience or online or to be heard on something that wants to be talked to the commission that is not on the agenda? Speak to anything that is not on the agenda. Anyone? Very good. I hear no one. Public hearings. First public hearing, William Borgen, request for conditional use permit. The applicant is seeking approval for a conditional use permit for a major subdivision in an ag district that is not a cluster subdivision and is not located on wooded or marginal soils. On parcel 23.011.2000, track B of registered land survey number 3, part of the northwest quarter, township 140 north, range 48 west, section 11 in Oakport Township. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
This is Jenny. I'll make a motion.
Joe. I'll second.
And that was a Steve, right? With the second? Steve Linda's?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Laura?
Aye.
Jenny?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Ezra?
Aye.
Joel?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Kurt?
Aye.
Kurt?
Aye.
And Steve?
Aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is now open. Matt, could you please fill us in on the details of this, please?
Yeah, so this request came before you last month for a 3-lot platted subdivision, and you had recommended approval to the County Board of Commissioners. The Board of Commissioners made that approval this morning. Because this subdivision is on a, would be considered prime farmland, or it's not on an area that is wooded or has marginal soils, and is also not a cluster subdivision, a conditional use permit is required. So just to kind of remind you again, this is a 130-acre parcel. There would be two, pretty much they're about 6-acre lots, residential lots on County Road 9, and then a third 118-acre outlot. Currently, it's farmed. One thing there's a couple of things that I would like to add. A lot of this information is the same from the meeting last month. There's a couple of things that I would like to add. One is talking with the applicant, and then I also talked with the Highway Department and the Watershed District. I just want to highlight some changes to the drainage and runoff on the parcel. So if you're looking at the area roughly in yellow here, this is approximate, but roughly the kind of the east half of this quarter, that is all tiled, and that tile drainage goes north and empties out into the roadside ditch on 80th Avenue before going west. Also in this area where it's highlighted in black, there was a drainage that would go north, and then it went west to the roadside ditch on County 9. The landowner did make some modifications to that drainage, so actually the drainage now goes into this ditch that kind of bisects that corridor, and then goes north and then goes west along 80th Avenue. So also there's some tile put in on the farm and the Dell property just to the south. So a majority of the drainage that used to come from the south now actually will hit that and go west. So a lot of the runoff, I'd say probably all of the runoff or drainage coming out of this section out of this quarter section originates in this quarter section as precipitation. I had also had a meeting with the watershed district as well as the highway department just to talk about some of the concerns that one of the neighbors had brought up to you all at your February meeting. One of those concerns was issues with drainage. The highway department and the Buffalo Red River Watershed District agreed that a lot of the drainage issues they're not cause for, they wouldn't cause like either minor or major flooding concerns. A lot of it has to do with the grade of the ditch on County Road 9. It's just really flat. And so you just get some standing water in that ditch, which can be a breeding ground for mosquitoes and, just kind of be a nuisance, flies and things like that. And that's a lot of the complaints that the highway department has gotten in the past is not so much flooding issues, but more nuisance type issues like that. And it's of the watershed district's opinion as well that adding 2 residential lots would not have any, if any impact, it would be minimal and might even be a positive impact on runoff and drainage in the area, just with the fact that the size of the lots are large, 6 acres each, and with that, they, with the planting of lawns and trees, there would be a lot more. There would be increased infiltration into the soil from precipitation and runoff, and so that should mitigate some of the impacts as well with drainage. Oakport Township also approved this subdivision at their March meeting. Their one comment is that they would not want to see any further development of that, what would be Lot 3, so that larger outlot, particularly of concern just along 80th Avenue North. They had some drainage concerns as well as just impacts to their township road, 80th Avenue. So the staff recommendation at this point is to approve this conditional use permit with the following conditions. Lot 3 must not be developed for residential use, just remain agriculture. Property owners must sign and record a land use notification. Property owners must sign and record a drainage notification. Residential structures must be built at the same grade as the County Road 9. Then any land disturbance greater than 1 acre would require a construction stormwater permit, and with that comes a stormwater pollution prevention plan, and that's a state regulation from the Pollution Control Agency. So, and I had presented these conditions to the Board of Commissioners this morning, and they agreed that they should be on this permit as well as if and any other conditions that you would see necessary. Any questions for me at all?
Mr. Chair, this is Ezra. I have a question for Matt.
Go ahead.
With recommendation number 1, Lot 3 must not be developed for residential use. This is the CUP that goes with the property, right?
That's correct.
So say in 20 years, Mr. Borgen sells this piece of property to somebody and they want to develop it. Can they come here and ask for that? Or do we shut them down right away and say no?
Nope, a CUP could be amended.
Could it be amended?
Yep.
All right. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I have one question for you, Matt. Why put that in the first place?
I think that was just because that was something that the township wanted to see. Also, just considering that this is a area that has a lot of, it's prime farmland as well. And one of the goals in our comprehensive plan is to protect prime farmland.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions for Matt? Anybody else? Would the applicant like to speak to the board at this time? Is Mr. Borgen here?
Yep.
Yes, he is here.
Did he want to speak this time?
Is that better?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Bill Borgen is my name. I do have one correction, Matt. You have on there in the yellow box that that parcel is tiled.
Yeah.
It is not. It
Oh.
is the quarter to the east of there, both quarters to the east of there are tiled. And both of them are tiled and drained east through the, whatever that next road to the mile to the east is. So that 300 acres on the east half of section 11 is tiled.
Got it. Thanks.
I have nothing else. Somebody has a question for me.
Does anyone have a question?
Hey, Jenny. Okay. Anybody have a question? No? Anybody want to speak against, for, or against this proposal? Anybody for or against the proposal? I hear no questions. I hear nobody speaking for or against. One last time, anybody got any questions for Matt or the applicant? Any questions at all? Okay, then I guess I'd ask for, anybody want to make a motion to close the public hearing?
So move, Ezra.
So move.
Got Ezra,
Second,
but-
Joel.
Joel's going to second it. All those in favor, say aye. Laura?
Laura, I muted you. So you might have to unmute.
He said yay.
Okay, Jenny,
Yes.
Andrea,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Ezra,
Yes.
Joel,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
and Steve.
Yes.
Public hearing is now closed. Let's go through the facts and findings for this property quickly. Got number one, effective use. In granting a conditional use, the planning commission shall consider the effect of the proposed use upon the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of occupants of surrounding lands existing in anticipated land uses, traffic conditions, including parking facilities and adjacent streets and land, and the effect on agricultural usage and values of property and scenic views in the surrounding areas, and the effect of the proposed use on existing comprehensive plans. Anybody got any comments, any problems? Use and enjoyment of other property. The conditional use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted, and not substantially diminish or impair property values within the immediate vicinity. Development of surrounding property. The establishment of the conditional use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding vacant property for uses predominant in the area. Number four, utilities, access roads, drainage, off-parking living spaces. Adequate measures have been made or will be taken to provide utilities, access roads, drainage, and off-street parking and loading spaces. Number five, adequate measures have been or will be taken to prevent or control offensive odor, fumes, dust, noise, and vibration, water pollution, and soil erosion, so that none of these will constitute a nuisance, and to control lighted signs or other lights in such a manner that no disturbance to neighboring properties will result. Number six, the use will not create an excess burden on parks, streets, schools, water supply, sanitary sewers, and storm sewers and other public facilities or utilities which serve or are proposed to serve the area. Number 7, the use will be sufficiently compatible or separated by distance or screening from adjacent agricultural zoned or used lands so that the existing homes will not be depreciated in value and there will be no deterrence to agricultural use of said land. Appearance, let's see, the structure and the site shall have an appearance that will not have an adverse effect upon adjacent residential properties. Number 9, the use is, in the opinion of the Planning Commission, reasonably related to the overall needs of the district and to the existing land use. In case of floodplain areas, the proof that the location is necessary for facility operation and that alternative sites not susceptible to flooding are not available. Number 10, the use is consistent with the purposes of this ordinance and the purposes of the zoning district in which the applicant intends to locate the proposed use. 11, the use is not in conflict with the comprehensive plan, if any, of township, city, or county. 12, the use will not cause traffic hazards or congestion in floodplain areas that has access during flooding or ordinary and emergency vehicles. 13, existing businesses nearby will not be adversely affected because of curtailment of customer trade brought about by intrusion of noise, glare, or general unsightliness. Okay. Any discussion, folks? We got, anybody have any comment or make comments about the proposed, any more comments on the recommendations for the conditions? Or any concerns about maybe other conditions? Any comments, discussion?
Not a huge item, but I think it's important to note the clarification on the drainage and the reduction of the water that as it flows. I know that was part of the discussion a month ago, so I appreciate the fact that that was brought up. It certainly clears up some concerns that I had on it, but it makes sense.
I think in staff recommendations there, number 4, residential structures must be at the same grade as County Road number 9. That should be in almost any building permit. They should be as high as the roads. The water runs over the road before it runs into the building. I'm sure that's what that's there for. That is a good regulation. Good proposal. Anybody else have any comments? Hearing none, are we ready for a motion to approve or deny, whichever way you want to go?
Mr. Chair, I would make that motion to approve with the recommendation, the recommended 6 items, or 5 items, since we don't have one.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Chair Ezra.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, say aye. Laura?
Aye. Aye.
Jenny?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Ezra?
Aye.
Joel?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Kurt?
Aye.
Kurt?
Aye.
Steve?
Yes.
Okay, motion's approved. On to number 8 on the agenda, unfinished business. Matt, could you fill us in on the comprehensive plan update?
Yeah, I think Adam Altenberg from MetroCog is with us today. And Adam, it looks like you are able to share.
Does it work?
Yes.
Are you able to see my screen? Okay,
Yep.
great. Well, Thank you again for your time here tonight. Just a quick update on a couple of items here. We had our second study review committee meeting for the comprehensive plan about a week and a half ago. Discussed some of the community trends that we're seeing related to population, housing, employment, and a few other areas. But the big thing we've been focused on is our first series of community engagement meetings, which again will be next Tuesday, March 23rd, with 2 virtual options to choose from. We're continuing to get the word out through Facebook, newspaper notices, and email notifications. And as of earlier today, we have eight people that have registered, but we do anticipate that will tick up here in the final week. A portion of these meetings, we will have a interactive visioning workshop using what's called Mural, which is also what the city of Moorhead used in their public input meetings back in January, if you happen to be a part of those. Also, a quick update on our online community input survey. We've had 14 responses to that so far, with an average completion time of 14 minutes. By next month, we should be able to share the full results of those responses, and we'll be looking forward to taking a closer look at those. And just last, Clay County sent out a letter to each township back in late February seeking additional input about strengths, challenges, and topics that they would like to see addressed in the plan. And as of today, we've received feedback from the townships of Alliance, Highland Grove, Spring Prairie, and Ulen, and looking to receive more responses from townships in the next couple of weeks. But that's all I have for this evening. Happy to take any questions at this time.
Thank you, Adam, for all the work that you've done on this. And yeah, hopefully as we continue to get the word out, we see more people sign up for Tuesday and more people complete that public input survey.
I would add, I went through and did that survey. I went through it. I would ask the planning commission or the rest of the planning commission members, take 15 minutes, fill it out.
Tell your friends.
We should put it up, if you would, please. I think everybody would appreciate it in the county.
I appreciate that, Bill. I think that this planning commission has a unique perspective because we hear the concerns of citizens more than most people do because of the nature of public hearings. And, I think it would be very beneficial if all of you could fill that out. It certainly would be helpful.
It doesn't take too long.
So can I clarify the Tuesday meeting? There's 2 different times to participate. Adam, do you have to sign up? I was under the impression you just picked one time.
We have there's a registration link for both meetings on our website. So yeah, we do require people to register ahead of time.
Adam, will there be a link online for it to be streaming or I know it's such an interactive platform.
So we will have it, on Facebook Live as well, and we haven't really advertised that because we wanted to get as many people to participate in the actual meetings themselves. But we will have it streaming on Facebook, and then we do anticipate that once the meetings have concluded that we'll have the videos on the community involvement page, so people can take a look back if they wish.
Thank you.
One comment on the survey. I thought it was kind of hard to find, but really easy. It'd be nice if it was right on your first page there. Click on this, find it. I knew what I was hunting for, but it did take me a little while. That could just be me too.
We did, Matt had the same comment here about a week ago. So we did change our website a little bit, and we did put the link on our homepage for the comprehensive plan. So hopefully it's a little easier to find now.
Okay, I must have got in there before you changed it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Matt, could you send us all a direct link to that so we don't have to go searching for it through an email?
Yes, I can do that.
Then we
I
could
went to
forward that
Metro.
on to our
I
friends
Googled,
too.
Yeah, and Adam, maybe we want to do that same thing with the public input meeting registration, just right there, just make it super easy as easy as possible to find. That might be, yeah.
And then too, I would recommend, we have news flashes on the county homepage, and then that will share to all of our social media platforms. So let's make sure that the simple form is shared.
Yep. I know, Luke with MetroCog has been working with Tim DeForge to get that out on our social media, so, we can make those changes and then keep pushing that out.
Anything else for Adam? Thank you for your time, Adam.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you. New business. Are you done with the unfinished business, Matt?
Well,
Anything else to add there?
I have one thing to add. I just remember last month, Steve Lindos had asked about prime farmland in Clay County. So Erica from our office did put together a map, and I can send it to you all. Let's see if I can share it here. Yeah, so this map that Erica put together, and thanks Erica for putting it together, just shows kind of the prime farmland in Clay County. Pretty much all of it that isn't a city or kind of in the Beech Ridge area or the southeast would be prime farmland. I think if you add it all up, there would be, and I just added it up. There would be 836 square miles of prime farmland, and there's about, if you're just considering land in Clay County, there's about 1,040 square miles of land. That's not including water. So, majority of the county would be considered prime farmland. A lot of that kind of in that Lake Agassiz glacial plain in the Red River Valley itself. And then some areas kind of just between Dilworth and Glendon, and then kind of up in the Ulen-Hitterdal area, you see a lot of farmland that would be considered farmland of statewide importance. So that would be kind of the best of the best, so to speak.
Thank you, Matt and Erica. Is this available? I mean, this is actually really pretty map. Is this available as a GIS overlay? Do you know?
It is. It's a lot of this data. Erica actually pulled from the. You pulled it from the USDA. Yeah, so the USDA has like a soil survey that they do for the entire country. And that's essentially what this is based on.
As you get closer to the ridge there, even the county has different tax levels. Because the quality drops off there when you get to the east and the tax levels goes off. I mean, changes out there. So
Yep.
It's prime, might be considered prime, but not as prime as some of that stuff, that dark green stuff along the river there and around Moorhead.
Yep.
That's some pretty good stuff. Ulen too, got some pretty good stuff up there.
Yep. Which I will say, Ulen Township did put that as a strength in their survey, is their agriculture. So. So I can send this map out to you all.
Matt, could you mark where I live on that map?
Is it in the
You're right in that
dark green?
Right in the dark.
Dark green.
Ezra, you're in the dark. You're in the dark green.
Get some pins out.
Yeah. I do have one other old item that could be considered old business, I guess. And that's just an update on the text amendment to add a service business as an interim use to the urban expansion district tier 1 zoning district. So the Board of Commissioners this morning did approve that ordinance. They made 2 changes to that, and let's see here, I can pull it up quick.
I can probably explain it.
Yeah, if Commissioner Mojo wants to.
So we did talk about that today, and appreciated the fact that there was so much back and forth between the communities in terms of making sure we address the concerns. The items of negotiation where we talked about the up to equivalents for employees, we had set a recommendation at 10 employees, and this morning we did approve up to 15 employees. And the reason is during the CARES Act funding where we did the business relief, we really noticed a huge disparity in terms of businesses that had up to 21 employees and then higher. It really changed the classification and size of business. And we noticed that there still were smaller businesses that had 15 to 20 employees, and thought that adding up to 15 allowed some more flexibility with businesses going forward. Remember that any of these proposals still needs to have a permitted use, so it would still need to come and have an open hearing so that any concerns could be addressed, but really felt it would be more flexible for businesses as well. And the second part is we had limited the ability to have an addition onto existing business or buildings, and that was not going to be something that was allowed, and really felt that created 2 problems. One, as a business grows and either equipment or just things that they have on the business site grows, that could become a nuisance to area residents if there's not an area to put that in a building. And so really felt that that was the most logical reason for that. And then 2, it just didn't want to stifle the growth of that. Again, that needs to go through a permitted use, and the concerns that the cities had in terms of what those growths would look like. The Clay County Board this morning made the caveat that anyone willing or wanting to add on to an existing building would need the permission of the municipality that it would affect. So if I was in Tier 1, had an existing permitted business and wanted to add on to my shop, I would need to go to the City of Moorhead Planning Department and get approval for that. And so it really allows them to continue to have a voice in how we help shape that, but felt it was the best way to address not only the concerns of the businesses, but citizens as well. So I could stand for questions if that doesn't make sense.
Both good proposals, Jenny.
Thank you, Bill.
Both very reasonable also.
Yeah, as you know, these are hard decisions, and I think that what we didn't want is to have a text amendment and then 3 months later have a business come back and say, wait, you really limited me by this. Granted, that will happen, and the proper avenue hopefully will be to work that out through the permitting process, not through additional changes to the text amendment.
The biggest problem with this one to me is those buildings were there and there was people operating in them even before this ordinance came through for this Tier 1, Tier 2, or before the zoning came into the county. And then this, you just kind of zoned them out of business, and that's a bad thing.
Yeah, I think that point did come up, is that if you are too limiting in what you allow, people will go ahead and do it anyway. And we don't really want to be dealing with after the fact permits all the time, obviously. But we want to be reasonable in allow what we do allow.
And I can answer any questions if anyone has any as well. The tricky thing with non-conforming, legal non-conforming uses is that the state essentially has laws on how non-conforming uses are to be regulated, and in a way that strikes a balance between the municipality's vision or strategy or approach to development with the rights of the property owners. And so that balance has kind of been, if you're zoned out of operating your business, you can continue operating, you just can't grow. And I think in this sense, it would allow for some growth, but it would only allow that growth to happen if it's in a manner that's consistent with the county's development code and comprehensive plan, and also at the same time consistent with the cities whose planned growth areas that those properties may fall in.
Okay, is that it for unfinished business?
That's all I had, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. New business. It's the time of the year we have to re-elect officers for the coming year. And I will pass this one over to Matt also to explain, talk about, and go from there.
Yeah, so every year we have a election for our 3 officer positions. We have the chair, Bill Davis. We have the vice chair, Mark Cleveguard, and the secretary, Steve Mortensen. Looking at the bylaws, we can do it, a ballot approach to this. We could also do, because we are kind of operating where we're half here and half virtual, a ballot might be difficult to do. We could do if folks are comfortable with nominating someone and then just doing a voice vote, we could do that. I also volunteered, if people aren't comfortable doing it that way, I also volunteered Rita to take votes via text message, since you all have her phone number. One thing I will say is, I think anyone on the planning commission would be great for any of these positions. Might be relevant to look at where everyone is in terms of their memberships. So might not make sense to elect someone or to a position if they're terming out this year. And so looking at our list, it looks like, Mark, you're done in November. Yep. And you're currently serving as the vice chair, so. And Andrea, you are not going to be on the commission until 20,223, whenever that year happens.
No, that's how long she'll be on the town board.
But you will be on the town board that long, I'm sorry.
Till death do us part. Isn't that how that works?
So it looks like.
So any questions or preference on how to proceed? Does anyone have we could start with the chair position and move down. That's kind of how it goes according to our bylaws. So if anyone has a nomination for the chair.
Bill, this is Ezra Bear, and I'd like to nominate you as a chair to continue doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Second that motion. It's not
Is
a
there
motion nomination.
Anybody else who wants to nominate somebody else?
I'd like to go unanimous vote as Bill is chair.
Anybody want to,
Yep.
how do you want to do that? How do you want to approve, agree to that, Matt? Is that?
I'd second that.
Yeah, I think,
So that we're casting a unanimous ballot, that's fine.
yep, I think that'd be fine.
So now
Correct.
we need a roll call.
So he's passed, right?
We need a roll
We
call.
would need a roll call, yeah.
Need a roll call? Laura,
I agree.
Jenny,
Yes.
Andrea,
Yes.
Steve Mortensen,
Yes.
Ezra,
Yes.
Joel,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Kurt.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Kurt
Yes.
and Steve.
Totally agree.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Now we need to go to the vice chair. We need, since Mark is going to be gone, we're going to have somebody for vice chair.
I'll nominate Ezra.
Second that. Cast a
Let's
unanimous.
go with, anybody want to go with the
Aye.
Unanimous vote again, or is there another one?
I'll
Yes.
support a unanimous ballot for Ezra. This is Mark Cleveguard.
Second, Kurt Sherman.
All right, all those in favor? Laura,
Agree.
Jenny,
Yes.
Andrea,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Ezra. You want to vote for yourself?
I'll accept.
Okay, Joel,
Yes.
Mark,
Yep.
Kurt,
Yes.
and Kurt,
Yes.
and Steve.
Yes.
And me, of course, is yes. So that's passed also. Now we need a secretary. And the present secretary, I believe, was Steve Mortensen, right?
Make a motion to nominate Steve as secretary.
This is Andrea, I'll second.
And I will also cease nominations and ask for a unanimous ballot.
Is there a second for that one?
I'll
second
second
it.
that as well.
Second, Kurt Tribbin.
Andrea.
Second. Okay, Andrea. Jenny made the motion. Andrew made it seconded. Laura, all in favor, say aye. Laura?
Aye.
Jenny?
Yes.
Andrea?
Yes.
Steve?
Yep, I will accept.
Very good. Mark, Ezra?
Yes.
Joel?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Kurt?
Yes.
And Kurt?
Yes.
And Steve?
Yes.
Motion's carried. So we got our three. I guess I'll be here for another year, and then Ezra as vice chair, and Steve Mortensen as the secretary.
And
Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Chair, I should have stated this before the fact, but just want to note that there aren't any pay raises, but increased responsibility with each of these positions.
Uh-oh. Maybe we're gonna have to reconsider.
I think we'll have to go argue our case at the county board.
Oh, yeah.
They might get a chuckle out of that one. Is there any other new business then, Matt?
Yeah, I do have one more thing that I just want to kind of talk with you all about, and that's the city of Sterling, the proposed city of Sterling.
Good people in the lobby.
Is there someone waiting to get in? Okay. So I think you all have heard of Sterling by now. Let me share my screen here, or am I sharing it? Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the city of Sterling was proposed by the Spring Prairie Colony and Spring Prairie Township. They had brought a resolution in February before the town board, and that to incorporate as a municipality. And so, and this is their proposed boundary, this purple here. And so, with that resolution, what would happen next is, well, I'll get to what would happen next, but we'll just go with the hypothetical city of Sterling right now, if it were to exist in Clay County, as it's proposed to. So, just some things about Sterling, and now this isn't a real city yet; it's just a hypothetical city at this point. If it were to be established tomorrow, its population would be about 180 people, about 45 households with a density of about 40 people per square mile. I'd be a little over 2880 acres and 4.5 square miles. So looking at how that might stack up compared to other incorporated communities in Clay County, if you're looking at Sterling compared to the other 11 incorporated communities by area, it would be number 2 in size, geographic size. Only Moorhead would be larger, and Moorhead dwarfs it. But it would be larger than Dilworth, Hawley, Barnesville, Glendon, and all the others. If we're going to look by population, it would be sitting in at 9th. So only Felton, Georgetown, and Comstock would have smaller populations than Sterling. And so one thing that you might note on here is that with the second largest area and the third or fourth smallest population, it would definitely have the lowest density of people per square mile. I mean, I don't think it's even close. 40 people, yeah, the next closest would be Georgetown at 123 people per square mile. So far, this is where we're at. The colony had requested that the township pass a resolution to incorporate. The township board passed that resolution in February. What would happen next is this would have to go to a public hearing before an administrative law judge. And I called the Office of Administrative Law last week. They have not received anything from the colony or the colony's attorney regarding this in proposed incorporation. When they do receive that, they would have to notice all the townships and communities that share a border with Spring Prairie Township, and then they'd notice the county as well. That hearing would take place in Clay County, so likely I would assume that it would probably take place here at the courthouse. I'm not sure about that though, but the judge would actually drive up here and hear that case here. So there hasn't been any date set, just because they haven't received anything at this point. This is tiny. It always looks bigger on my computer screen, and then I get up here and yeah. So I will just say that, as part of the, I've had some questions from folks about, well, because this resolution passed and they just have to have a public hearing, does that mean that this is basically a slam dunk? And my response to that would be no. The judge would have to consider 13 factors. These are in statute. They'd look at the present population and the number of households, and they'd look at the past population, projected population growth. They'd look at the quantity of land within the area, looking at just the topography, the features, soil conditions, rivers, lakes, things of that matter, the present pattern of development, planning and intended land uses that the subject area currently has, and then the proposed land uses and patterns of development as well. They'd be looking at transportation. They'd be looking at the current land use controls. That would be the Clay County Development Code. They'd be looking at existing government services being provided to the area. They'd be looking at environmental problems or issues, and if this action would improve or resolve the problems. Looking at impacts, fiscal impacts on adjacent units of government. Looking at the relationship and effect of the proposed action on adjacent school districts, delivery of services to the area, if they can be delivered by, in this case, the government, which would be the colony. If government services can be provided through this action, or if there's some other way to better provide government services. And then how this proposed area would border other townships. At this point, I don't think it borders any other townships. Yeah, I think it's all entirely within Spring Prairie Township. And then looking at the state building code. So that's a lot to unpack and a lot to go through and a lot of information that the colony would have to provide to the chief law or to the administrative law judge. I don't think any of these 13 factors can be answered in one public hearing. So that's kind of where things are at right now. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I would have a question. That they must be doing this to benefit themselves, whether it be through road or tax. Do you have any idea why they would propose this? I could see they wouldn't have to come to us all the time when they're
Well,
Missing a structure.
I mean, part of it is they've been wanting to do things that only would make sense for cities. And so that's kind of been a barrier in what we can allow them to do. So, you know, certainly as they grow and as you see, they're bigger in some of those cities, it only makes sense that the next step would be to become an incorporated city.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, from what I've heard from talking with the colony and with others is exactly what Jenny had said. One example would be they want to put up more another multifamily residential housing unit, and currently in the unincorporated areas of Clay County that is not permitted. I think what we allow is like a condo essentially. That's all we would allow. So if they were going to do that, they would have to come to the planning commission and come to the board again and look for amendments to the code. And I think with some other things that they have going on too, it just doesn't make sense for them to keep doing that. And they already kind of, to some extent, operate as their own community already and do provide a lot of the services to the colony residents that a city would provide, such as community water and community sewage. They have a school. They don't have a fire department, but they do have a fire truck. So they're over halfway there. Things of that nature. I think what is interesting and maybe unique about this proposal is that this isn't a group of individual landowners. So their form of government, they have, I think the state, if they're going, this process is, they're going to become what's called a statutory city. And a statutory city it's different from like a home charter city, where if you're a home charter, you would just draft your own charter. Anything changes you want to make would have to be through that charter, whereas a statutory city is your authority is given through the state legislature. So you're still bound by state rules, state regulations. There's a few options, though I'm not well versed on what those options of government are, but it'd be interesting to see how a religious community such as the Spring Prairie Colony would form their government, if they'd have a mayor or a council or anything like that. So,
You know, I think the biggest thing for them is not just the housing, but they could also make up their own industrial park. And they could put any businesses up there they wanted to. Correct?
yeah,
Basically, as long as they meet the city or the state of Minnesota requirements.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, that's correct. And in just talking with the leader of the colony out there, that's kind of what they're trying to get towards, is to try and separate some of their land uses a little better and have some of their more commercial and industrial uses a little more separated from their residential uses, from their agricultural uses. So, because a lot of the issues that we've heard from folks who live around the colony with regards to noise and dust and things like that, those are also issues and the colony readily admits this, they're also issues for the people who live there as well in the colony. And they would like to do whatever they can to mitigate those issues.
So I think you can answer this in affirmative or not, but as a city, one reason why they have so much land is they want to be able to then have control over roads also. And so they can now link up to County Road Highway 9.
Yeah, Mr. Chair and Steve, that's correct. All the land that's in that purple boundary, that's all owned by the colony. And so I think what they would like to do is they would like to have a paved road, 70th Avenue, going out to County 9.
You mean the State Highway 9 there?
Or, yeah, State Highway 9, my My bad.
But State Highway 9, that's not a 9-ton road either, is it? There's restrictions on that in the spring, isn't there?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Any questions about Sterling?
Thanks for the update.
Yeah, and as I hear more, I'll keep bringing updates to you as this progresses. So, one other thing that of new business, Mr. Chair, this will be quick, that Rita just reminded me of is next month we will all be land records will be our county land records departments. So the assessor, auditor, recorder, planning and zoning will all be in a new location, government center. And that will be located on 12th Avenue South in Moorhead. So we are moving there next week. But our planning commission meetings, board of adjustment meetings will continue to be held at the courthouse. So
If you need to pay your taxes, meet with administration, all of that, you go to the new site, but then any of these bigger county meetings then still would be here.
Yep.
They will by the end of the month. And then you've probably read that this building will become a justice center, so it will make it a new courtroom across the hallway, and then probation and more of the courts type stuff will be in this building, which really will help. You know, we've had a backlog of court cases, as you know.
Yep. So
Are you still on the third floor there? Jenny, are you still on the third floor there?
Am I, pardon?
Yeah. Where are you guys sitting right now?
Right now, we are in the new room that used to be comprised of the old planning commission room. So we've just expanded that room. It's the old meeting rooms A and B on third floor, yep.
Yeah, so if any of you need to come meet with me at all, I'll be in the new spot. You can just swing by, pick up a Casey's Pizza. It's right next door.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I thought maybe you could take us out to someplace else.
Well, we can do that
Maybe.
too.
Maybe you could buy down at the, at someplace.
Absolutely.
That's company credit card, right? I mean, a county credit card?
Yep.
3510 12th Avenue South. It's the old RDO building they had across from Horizon Middle School, Moorhead. The big overpass that splits Moorhead and Dilworth. Just go south on that towards the interstate, and then it's off. Yep, right behind Casey's. Mm-hmm. Great.
There was a daycare in there too, wasn't there?
Yes, as right away, but then RDO expanded into it. So.
Oh, okay.
And that's all for new business.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Very good. Is there a second?
I'll second Ezra.
All those in favor? Laura? Laura? In favor,
Aye.
adjourn the meeting. Jenny?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Ezra?
Aye.
Joel?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Kurt?
Aye.
Kurt?
Aye.
Steve?
Yes, and I was going to add, please go get your vaccinations. Clay County is having extra vaccines, so if you haven't had a chance, go and sign up and see if there's available.
Thank you. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.